Hello everyone, welcome to Tactical Wisdom. Today we're going to be talking about the get home bag, how to build one, what I throw in it, and basically what it's used for, what sort of things you can have that will help you get home. But today, let's talk about today's camouflage pattern. Today's camouflage pattern is what you see in the background there. It is U.S. Marine Corps Marpat Desert. It's great in desert regions or sandy areas, can be good in the mountains. It's also really good in temperate areas like the northern half of the U.S. in the late fall and winter because it blends in great with the dead vegetation and leaves on the ground. So that's today's camouflage pattern. But let's get right into the get home bag. First, what's the purpose of a get home bag? The purpose is for you to use it to get home from a location where you can't necessarily drive from. It's got supplies to sustain you for 24 to 48 hours, really no more than that. It's just a basic supply and gear bag, like it mentions there on the screen. It's kept in your vehicle, or you might keep one in your office. You might keep one at a place you frequent, friend's house, things like that. It's used when you must leave the vehicle and walk home. Could be because of damage to the road structure. There could be rioting and crowds blocking the roads. Could be any of a number of things. Roads could just be too dangerous because of bad things happening. But essentially, you have to leave the area and walk home. Natural disaster, conflict, civil disorder, whatever it is, you've got to walk home and you want to have a certain amount of things with you. And that's kind of what this bag gives us. Let's talk a little bit about the bag itself. Now, there's a lot of guys out there on the internet who will tell you, hey, don't get anything with Molly webbing or anything overtly tactical because you want to be the gray man. Well, let me tell you this. If it comes time when I've got to use my get home bag to get home, gray man's going to go out the window. And if you're letting people analyze your bag to this level, you're not doing it right. You should be avoiding other people and avoiding contact. And to be quite honest, you can't really buy a backpack now that doesn't have some type of webbing on it. So I go middle of the road. What I've got is a black backpack with black webbing. And if I'm doing it right, they're not going to get a good enough look that it's even going to matter. This one's a Highland tactical bag. Good stuff. One of my favorites. What I look for in it is some larger outer pockets. This has got a couple. This one also has a hidden pocket on it. This one, though, has a feature that I really love, and I mentioned in all of my books. Is the side handles on the side of the backpack in addition to the one on the top. You want a real sturdy handle on the top, but you'd also like a couple on the sides so that you can carry them in different ways or lower them down heights or pull them up with rope from different angles. Whatever you might have, handles on the sides as well as the top make it a lot easier to carry a bag or to hold on to it. Like if I'm laying down, I could put my hand through the strap or whatever it is. Just a good way to have it. It also has a pretty solid sternum strap, which pulls the backpack up closer to your weight. Now, everything we're talking about here today is found in my first book, the Baseline Training Manual. Links are going to be below down in the description. Um, let's talk about wearing the bag. Most people in America, as I point out in my book, wear their backpacks improperly. You see kids walking around with a book bag dangling from their shoulders and it's way down around their butt or their lower back. And that's not the proper way to carry something like this or to carry a heavy load. You want to cinch the straps tight, and the backpack should be high on your back. And if it has a hip belt, use that to transfer some of the weight to your hips. But if it has a sternum strap, use that, which pulls the bag tighter up onto your back and not have it pulling on your shoulders and on your neck. It should be worn tight to the body. So next we come into the items that I have around the outside of my bag. And we're going to work kind of from the outside on our way in. The first thing you see there is a tactical pen. Now there's a lot of different varieties you can get, but these are pens that are an impact weapon. They usually have some sort of a striking surface with a point, so I could break a window if I needed to, or I could do some damage to an attacker. The one here in the photo has a small, really dim light at the top, so I could look around in my bag without making a lot of light. Now, next to that is what looks like a pen, and it does write, but that is also a camera. A great small body worn camera is a good thing to have in all of your emergency gear. This one here, available on Amazon, it'll record about 4 hours of video, and that's about what the battery life is. and you turn it on just by clicking the top of your pen, which is a perfectly normal activity. So I can wear this clipped in the strap of my backpack, and when I feel like I might need to record what's about to happen, I could just tap it and it'll record for me. So pretty good stuff. There's a pair of carabiners here. The bigger one is carried on the top. The other one is just carried on the outside, and I'll tell you why when we get to that slide in a minute. But a couple of carabiners. Any backpack you have should have one at the top so you can hang it from things. The item there at the top, the yellow item, is a seatbelt cutter and window punch. I keep this on the outside of the bag so I can get at it in an emergency, grab it and just yank on it. It's attached with a zip tie there, so I can clip it onto anything. And that little black piece is a breakaway strap, so you can just yank it down and use it to punch a window if you need to. Underneath that is a survival patch from Super SA. Inside that patch, there's a little miniature saw. There is a storm match. There's some duct tape that makes for great kindling. There's some kindling string in there, a small cutting device, and a couple of other real small survival items inside the patch, including a small handcuff key in case anyone tries to hold you against your will. And we'll just leave it at that. Below that is a small photon light, just a real small light for looking around in the bag without turning on a giant flashlight. The next item there is a little pry bar with a P38 can opener on it. You can never have too many P38 can openers laying around. One of the best tools to come out of World War I and World War II. Never needs sharpening. It has a million uses more than just opening up cans. I keep them all over the place. Above that is a survival bracelet, also from Super SA bands. They make these to your specifications. This one's got a couple Ranger bands around it, and underneath those are some things like a button compass. There's some more twine for fire starter on there. There's another can opener on there, and I think I have another cuff key in there as well. And if you look at the buckle has a whistle built in and a fire starter. You can see a little white thing there. That's the striker, and the part that goes into the other half of the buckle is a ferro rod. Inside here, when you undo the paracord, which you can use then as paracord, inside there's a tube with fishing line, communications wire, aluminum foil, water purification tablets, and all kinds of other survival gear in a little rubber tube inside of there. So pretty fantastic little bracelet. They will make them to your own specification. I have two of them. Pretty good stuff. I just clip this to the outside, and if something happens, I will immediately take it off the backpack and put it on my wrist so that it's actually on my person. And the other item I keep on the outside is some type of multi-tool. This one is a Gerber NXT. It's just the one I have on there now. You can have any type of Gerber, Leatherman, or SOG tool on the outside of there. You want to always have some type of multi-tool available. So those are the items around the outside. Let's talk a little bit about these two carabiners that are on here. Here's a close-up view. The first one is the Outdoor Element Spark Wheel. It's got a little bit of a rope cutter on there. I took the protector off so you can see it. There is an oxygen tank wrench on the bottom. There's a little sharp metal point in case you need to poke something or bust a window. But the most important thing is on the end there is a spark wheel, and it works just like a lighter. You flick that and you get sparks to help you start a fire. So I just keep this clipped to whatever bag I'm using. The next one next to that is the one I keep on the top of the bag. It's a Hero clip. This one will hold 175 pounds, and basically it enables me to hang my backpack from anything. It's like a woman's purse hanger that you see some women carry when they go to a restaurant or whatever. This is the same thing. I can hang my bag from a shelf. I can hang it from a tree. I could hang it from even some debris out in the wilderness somewhere, just to get my bag off the ground so that it stays dry and isn't sitting in the ground. Hero clips are a great thing to have. I keep them on all of my bags. Now, on the bottom outside pouch, the one that's the furthest out, I keep the first aid kit. Now, there's two things in there. One is a Solitac PTK. That's my major trauma kit. That's my gunshot kit, right? It's there for treating a major injury. And it's a self-contained unit. Demp does a great job of putting these together. Check out solitac.com. but that's what I keep in there, along with a boo-boo kit, which has got a lot of Band-Aids in there. I keep mine very heavy on fingertip and knuckle Band-Aids because that's where you're most likely going to injure yourself, is your fingertips and knuckles when doing things survival related. So a boo-boo kit and a major trauma kit in the first aid pouch, always on the bottom outside pouch of the backpack. And in working executive protection, the entire team keeps theirs in the same place so that we all know where to go for medical gear should we need it. Behind that, I have what I call my observation and navigation pouch. Now, there are two battle boards in here, but despite what some people who live in my house will tell you, I don't carry two battle boards. I just have two for illustration. Essentially, a battle board is a notebook cover. And on the inside, I keep write in the rain paper, a write in the rain pen, and a pencil for drawing sketches, writing notes, taking notes, whatever I need. But the best part of a battle board is on the outside. There's a pouch there where I can put a map. Right here, I've got a map of a local area so that I could track my progress, plan my routes, whatever. But that's an acetate cover. I can write on that with alcohol markers, just like any other military map holder. It's a great way to make notes and check off where you're going and where you've been. And you can kind of draw out a plan right on the cover and go. I prefer to use alcohol markers rather than dry erase or wet erase because dry erase ones wipe off. Wet erase ones, sometimes a little hard to get off, but the alcohol ones will stay on. They'll stay on in rain. The only way to get them off is to take it off with alcohol. And I keep a little spray bottle of alcohol in there just for that purpose. And then also there I have a little Write in the Rain index card holder with a mini pen and a good stack of Write in the Rain index cards. Now, I've mentioned it before on some of my podcasts and some of my blogs that Write in the Rain index cards are great for leaving notes with people. So let's say something happened, you had to leave your car, and you don't know, though, if some of your people are going to come looking for you. You might leave a note using that Write in the Rain paper on your car that says, hey, this is where I'm going and this is the route I'm taking. Or if you've had it with your team, hey, Route 1. It just lets them know which route you're taking. And you don't have to spell it out for anyone untoward who might find it to track you down. Great thing. Good way to leave notes on all sorts of things. Now, on the top outside pouch, I keep tools and defense. This is the top pouch you can get at the easiest and the quickest. So what we have in here is a monocular. This one on the photo, it's a Barska 10 power monocular. I have recently upgraded that to a Vortex 10 power one with a sighting reticle, so I can tell range and how tall things are and how far away they are. So good thing. Above that, you see some camouflage duct tape. I've got that wrapped around an old library card. Duct tape is a great survival tool because it sticks to anything. It'll stick when wet. You can use it as a bandage because it'll stick when you're bleeding. It also serves as tinder. It burns real slow because of the fibers in it. It's just got 1,000,001 survival uses. So a great way to store a good amount of duct tape and store it flat so it doesn't take up room is to wrap it around some sort of an old credit card, old library card, just something like that that'll hold it, and you'll have some duct tape with you. I have another tactical pen in there. You can see that there next to the monocular. And I also have a pretty solid pry bar there next to that. That's just a little bar that, in an earthquake, doors will shift. You might not get the door open. The bar will help you move the door a little bit. It's real small and compact, so it's not in your way. Above that, I have one of the best dollar store finds you will ever have, and that's the $1.25 inspection mirror. You can find this in the hardware department at the Dollar Tree, or I guess it's the $1.25 tree, whatever you want to call it now. But it extends out and it enables me to look around corners or look over things and make sure there's not someone behind it. I get it. It's not the biggest and coolest inspection mirror in the world, but it's better than nothing. And it takes up no space and no weight, so why not throw one in? Next to that, I have a neck knife. This one's pretty cool. It's just a small, sharp little blade. If things went bad right away, I would immediately take this out and put it around my neck so that I've got it hidden underneath my shirt, able to be used. Cool thing about this, it's got a paracord necklace, and that toggle at the top that you can see there is a ferro bar, so I can start fires with this as well. Next to that is a self-defense tool. We call it a barracuda. Some places call it a ninja keychain. Doesn't matter what it is. It's a big chunk of metal that I can wrap my fingers around and hit someone with, and they're not going to like it very much. Attached to that, I have another small pry bar and wrench, and a larger tactical handcuff key. Now, I say that I have that tactical handcuff key because it's a lot easier to work handcuffs on bad guys with a larger key. But you can also use a longer key to get yourself out of handcuffs if your hands were behind you. But I wouldn't know anything about that. I'm just pointing out that I've heard this. And below that, I keep a lightweight pair of gloves because anytime we get into a without rule of law or whatever you want to call it situation, there's going to be a lot of bad things out there that you don't want to touch. So I keep a pair of lightweight gloves. These are 511 Tac Light Pros. They have leather palms and a nylon backing, so that they're lightweight, but they do protect your hands. So immediately throw on hand protection when things start to go bad. Also in there, sometimes, depending on what I'm doing and where I'm going, I will throw in my Kenmenga U.S. military issue compass. That's one of the best compasses ever made. Great lensatic compass. It's got a degree scale and a mil scale. Pretty good compass to have, and a nice long dummy cord so you can tie it down and not lose it. I keep one of those in there. Also, next, that's another Dollar Tree find. It's a $1.25 door alarm. I have dozens of these. Um, Consider it a throwaway. It's got two-sided tape on the back, and if I was walking home and I had to stay the night in an abandoned building or in some sort of an unsecure building, I can put this on a door or window, and the minute someone opens the door or window, it's going to make a lot of noise, and I'm going to know about it. So let's say I went to the second floor of an abandoned building. I can put this on the first floor door, and when they open the first floor door, I'll hear it, and I can get out of there and get moving. So not a bad thing. They cost $1.25. They're also in the home section at the Dollar Tree. Great little item to have. And at $1.25, I don't mind if I lose it. So I've got a bunch of them. I have a concealed outside pocket, and what I keep in there are other things I might need in a hurry. Um, a heavier duty pair of gloves. These ones are also by 511. No, I'm not a 511 stan. I just like their gloves. So these are pretty good gloves, heavier duty. Um, They're insulated a little bit more in case my hands get cold, and they've got a lot more leather padding on them in case I need to do some heavy work. I have a fixed blade knife in there. You already know I believe in the three blade rule. You should always have available a pocket knife, which will be in my pocket, a fixed blade knife right here in the top of my bag, and a multi tool, which is on the outside of the bag. So this fixed blade knife is the Anaconda by Tour Knives. There'll also be a link down below. I don't get anything from him. He's just a good guy, and I think you should support him. So the Anaconda knife by Tour Knives. I have a face mask in there. This varies depending on what I'm doing, what color I use. There is a set of waterproof matches in their container with a striker on it. And below that, I have a light band headband. These are better than most headlamps that you get because this one's really low profile and you can wear it over a hat. It's actually made to be worn over a helmet. So it's pretty adjustable, battery operated. It gives you a much wider field of view, and it's got several different settings. High, low, medium, strobe, red lights, and red light strobe. A lot of different settings you can use. Very handy. It casts it in a wider arc in front of you as you're trying to work on things than most of the other little ones do. So cool stuff. That's what's in the hidden outside bag. Clip to the inside. These are just something I keep where a water bladder would normally go. I keep a couple of can openers. There's a P51 and a P38 there. A little bit bigger one, a little bit smaller one. And I also keep a whistle in there. You're going to notice throughout this, I've got a lot of themes for the whistle. Great for signaling, great for getting help, great for distracting people too. So have some whistles available. This one is plastic so that even if it's really, really cold, I'm not going to freeze my mouth to it. I live in a cold climate, so it's kind of important to make sure your whistle is made of plastic and it won't freeze. Moving into the main compartment, I have here what's called my shelter kit. Now, most of this we're going to break out into their own slides in a minute, but the shelter kit consists of a poncho in its own pouch, um, one of two of these bivvies, a SHEMAGH, some cordage, and a packable jacket. Now, most of these are going to get their own thing, but I want to talk about the cordage and the poncho together. One, it's a rain poncho. It enables me to keep the rain off me. This one is just in a hunting pattern. It's not an actual military poncho, but it still does the same thing. The poncho can also be used as a small tent. I could set it up in an A-frame using that paracord there. And if you notice, I have those set up on some carabiners so that I can throw up a cord without having to tie a fancy knot. I can throw up a guy line for my tarp, so it protects me. So that's what I have there. Let's go into some of those in more detail. The next one is the packable jacket. In the other photo, it was packed into its pocket. This is made by Proper. It folds up into its own pocket on the back into a really small package, but you pull it out and it's a good sized lined jacket. I have these in a couple different colors. They're like $20 to $30. Great thing to have. So if I left work and I'm wearing a gray jacket and they're looking for the guy in the gray jacket, I just swap out my packable jacket and now I've got a totally different profile. So it's great to have a way to change your appearance rather quickly. And I go with black as a general rule because if there's street trouble, probably gonna be a lot of people wearing black hoodies and black coats. I can throw this on. Black's also a pretty common color in coats and clothing right now. Just great to blend in with as many places as you can. This kind of goes that whole gray man philosophy. It has a hood. Um, and it also could be a warming layer if it gets colder than you expected at night. Having a small packable jacket is a good thing. Whoops, we went right past the first slide. So in here I have MYLAR Bivy bag. I would only have one of these in here, and I got a couple options for a couple reasons. The one a lot of people have is that super bivy on the bottom, and it's bright orange. And that's a problem I've had in finding these. Is a lot of them are made for the civilian market and made for the I'm lost in the woods market. If that's the case and I'm lost and I want to be found, then orange makes perfect sense. But if we're talking about some sort of without rule of law situation or mass disaster situation, I might not want to draw that much attention to myself. And that's where the life bivy comes in OD green. It's still just a Mylar bag, but this one's a little more concealable, a little more hidden if I want to stay hidden. So generally, what I do is I keep the bright orange one in the trunk of my car in case I get in a car accident and I want to be found. I could use that and lay it out as a signal, or I can use it to keep warm. But as a general rule, in my get home bag or any tactical bag I have, my emergency bivy is going to be green or black. I want it to be a darker color. So that's what I have there. I put the green one there. If you'll also notice on the cover to it, which is also green and not bright green, there's a whistle. And that little piece of paracord that is part of the pull string on it, that's reflective. So if I shine my light down in my bag, it will reflect back to me and I can grab it real quick in a hurry. Um, a note about these are not meant for long-term use. You're going to get 2, maybe 3 nights worth of use out of one of these before it's no good to you anymore. You can repair it with duct tape and keep using it, but understand that this is not a permanent survival sleeping bag, right? This is a short-term use. You can also, in an extreme cold situation, line your regular sleeping bag with this, and it will keep you much, much warmer. So, Mylar Bivy bag. The next thing is a SHEMAGH. Now, SHEMAGH is a pretty great piece of survival gear. It has a million uses. The first of which is as a triangular bandage. As you see, I've got it folded over here into a triangle shape. I can use this for a sling. I can use it for a wound dressing. I can use it for all kinds of things. I can use it to collect water. You could put it in a low, shallow pool, and the water will soak up into it, and you can wring it out into something to purify it. My most common use for it, though, is to pre-filter water. I know we're talking about an urban get-home bag, but if I get water out of any source in an urban environment and the power is out, I'm still going to purify it. I'm going to pre-filter it by running it through this before I put it into a canteen, and then I'm going to use iodine to purify it or boil it, whichever. But SHEMAGH is great for that. It's also great as a warming layer. I can wear it wrapped around my shoulders and around my body. I can wear it around my face as a mask to hide my appearance. I can wear it around my head to keep the sun off. I also live in an urban area where people wearing shemaghs is not that unusual, both men and women. So I can blend in with the local populace, so to speak, using the shemagh. I have them in several different colors. This one just happens to be green. I normally keep a black one in my get home bag. Next in the secondary compartment, I keep this bag also from our friends at Super SA. What I keep in this bag is my food. So for 24 to 48 hours, I'm not going to have a lot of food. I keep a couple of granola bars, maybe a Spam single or two. I know you can tune those up at Spam if you want to, but it's quick and fast protein that doesn't have to be heated, and you can eat it by hand. Whatever I'm putting in my get home bag are going to be foods that I don't have to heat and I can eat with my hands without having to get out a whole kit to deal with. So Spam singles, energy gels, energy bars, anything like that you could throw in here. But this is a bag. It's woodland camo, so that's kind of cool. I like that. If I find something along the way that I want to pick up and carry, I can use this bag and attach it to the outside of my backpack. It's waterproof. I can use it to gather water. But more importantly, I could turn it inside out, and the inside liner can become a signal. The inside is fluorescent orange, so I can hang that from a window to tell my friends where I'm at, or I could hang that from my vehicle's antenna if my car is stuck and I need to be seen from the air. Whatever. It can also be a signal, but it's also a waterproof bag. So pretty cool stuff, and it's in God's plaid. You can't really go wrong with that. Also in the secondary compartment, I have two things. One is the water kit. The water kit there has a couple of bottles of the iodine purification tablets and then the neutralizer. I have a collapsible water bottle in here. These are by Vapor. Basically, it rolls up really, really small and flat until you put water in it. And then it has a carabiner so you can attach it to the outside of your pack. Another very much overlooked tool is that little X-shaped thing there called a Silcock tool. First of all, Silcock is fun to say, but it also is a tool that will enable you to open up commercial water faucets on the outside of buildings wherever you might go. This one has four different sizes. So the next time you're at a McDonald's, look around on the outside. You'll see a water spigot, but no handle. This right here will serve as the handle so you can get water out of there. Let me caution again, anytime the power goes out in an urban area, even if you're getting water from a faucet, you need to purify the water. If the power is out, the pressure in the water system can fall to a level where the backflow preventers fail, and you might get a little mixture of untreated water with your treated water. So always purify water in a power outage. The other thing next to that, I have a little first spear bag that contains my hygiene kit. In here, I've got a couple body wipes. That's generally a really large wet wipe, so I could take a shower without taking a shower. I've got some hand wipes in there, some bug spray, which is important for hygiene. This one's all natural. It's called No Nats, good stuff. I've got a couple of Clorox wipes in there for cleaning surfaces or my own gear. And I also have some waterless toothbrushes there. They've already got toothpaste in them. I don't need additional water. I can just brush my teeth. Oral hygiene is vital. Let's talk about ballistic protection. I know that there are a lot of different manufacturers who make plates that slide into your backpack, but this one I have here from Premier Body Armor is a ballistic laptop pouch, and normally I keep my laptop in there. But even if my laptop isn't in there, my laptop bag is, and therefore I have two panels of level 3A ballistic protection on my back at all times. So why is it important that I keep it on my back? Well, from the front, I can be looking around and watching for threats. I can't really watch behind me. So this is just one extra piece of cover from the rear to protect me. Not a bad thing to throw in. It's not very heavy at all. It's maybe a pound, but I keep it in there. It's a good thing to have. Profile change. I keep a couple things in here to change my profile. Nice tactical crawfish hat by Solitac there. But I keep a couple of different hats to change my overall appearance uh, in case I need to. Anytime I have a confrontation with someone else, I'm going to try to change my outer layer of clothing, including my hat, coat, whatever I can do so that I don't look like the same guy someone just got in a confrontation with for my own personal security and personal safety. On the inside zipper compartment, I keep all of my electronic components so that I don't lose them. I'm not digging around in the bottom of my backpack looking for them. They're all kept in there. So essentially, what I keep in here is a battery backup for my phone or radios, and the solar one. Now, I know what a lot of people say about these solar batteries that they take forever to charge and whatever. But hear me out. I can have it attached to the outside of my backpack, and it can trickle charge my phone or radio, which will keep it working. It might not charge the battery, but it will keep it up and running. So it's a good idea to have either way. I keep the appropriate cords in there, a radio with an earpiece, and there's also I've got a radio pouch there from Exumbris Designs. I'd probably put that right on my belt. I might put it on my backpack if I know I'm not going to be separated from my backpack, but I would probably put it on my belt. The only reason I throw it on my backpack is to try and get the antenna relocated higher for better reception. The key point about this is you need to be carrying this radio now every single day, and you need to have it programmed where you can reach your friends. And if you don't have it in your area, understand the Channel 3 project and how it works, and how you can find like-minded people when the time comes. One note about radios for all you other radio nerds, you might notice that has a BNC connection on it. Uh, Great idea I got from NC Scout. Any radio you have that has the SMA connector, you should replace immediately with BNC. This just screws right on down over the SMA connector and changes it to BNC. It's a little more robust and gives you a little bit more solid connection between your radio and your antenna. And it's also easier to take them on and take them off. Just a quick twist. So that's in the inside zipper compartment. I also keep somewhere in there the survival kit, generally also in that inside pocket. So just some basic stuff that I've got here. I've got a ferro rod and a striker. I've got a survival tin by Super SA. They have little miniature tins inside of there. In there I've got a fishing tin, a signaling tin, and a fire starting tin, and just a few other things that have little small amounts of survival gear, not enough to keep me alive for weeks, but enough to get me through 48 hours if I need to. And I know you might be thinking, why would you need a fishing kit in an urban area for only 48 hours? Fishing line and fish hooks make a fantastic way to discourage people who are following you and trying to harm you. I'll leave it at that. I'll let you draw your own conclusions. There are ways to do it. There is a mini rope dispenser here. Basically, this takes a spool of mini paracord, and it's got a cutter right on it, so I can cut out just the length I need. It's just a great little handy way to keep your cord organized and to keep some extra cord around for whatever you might need. Also, there is a small signaling mirror. I keep the small one in my urban get home pack for a reason, not just for signaling. It's a great way to signal, but this one is small enough that you can hold it in the palm of your hand, and with the small motion where you're adjusting your eyebrow or rubbing your eye, you can look in the palm of your hand and see behind you without it being obvious that you're looking behind you. Not a bad use for the signal mirror. Also, if you notice at the very end of that signal mirror's cord, another whistle. What? Maybe I like to whistle while I work. I don't know. I just like to have whistles available. So there we are. We've gone through what all goes into my get home bag. Yours might be a little bit different, but these are the very, very basics. Now, if I'm doing a surveillance operation, there'll be a little bit more recording gear, maybe some more note-taking gear in there, maybe a second packable jacket, whatever you're comfortable with carrying. But remember its purpose. It's 24 to 48 hours worth of survival to get you home. At best, you could extend it out maybe to 72 hours, but not much longer than that. You can find my books on Amazon. You can also find them at tactical-wisdom.com, where I write articles on things like this on a regular basis. And you can learn how to survive some of the coming troubles that are coming our way. I hope you tune in. Thank you very much for watching. Give us a like and maybe leave us a comment down below.